Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of 3rd and 20 Dynasty Pod. It's JT cooking it up with Jake, Lounis, and Frank. Another episode of the 3rd and 20 Dynasty Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6. We are about to do our live redraft right before the NFL season starts. So if we're kind of somewhat distracted at times, that will be it. We're drafting in 10 minutes from now. It's kicking off. But yes, football season is here, guys. Football season is upon us. And, I mean, there's not a lot of whole news and notes right before the season starts. I guess we'll kick it off right now with, it looks like Zach Wilson may actually start week 1. First, do you think that's likely? And 2, if you have Zach Wilson, do you even want him to start this week? Like, do you even want Zach Wilson in right away? Jake, you're shaking your head no.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm a Zach Wilson manager, I would not want him to rush back from this. If you're a Zach Wilson manager, you're probably maybe not a tanking team or a bad team, but you're still working your way back, I would assume, to that contending role. And I would just say, don't rush back. No need to risk a re-injury here. Just, sit 2 weeks, come back in week 3. And now you've had your full rest, your full 6-8 weeks, whatever it was. And call it a day. But there's no reason, especially for a Jets team that's not going to be that good. I just don't see the point for either the Jets or any benefit from fantasy besides that he gets to play.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have no other quarterback to play, you'd want him to play. But other than that, against the Ravens week 1, I think they're on the road too.
No, it's home. It's at MetLife.
Oh, it's at home?
It's at MetLife.
I mean, I feel like if I'm ranking out all the quarterbacks to start week 1, Zach Wilson's probably bottom 10.
Yeah.
Against the Ravens defense?
Yeah, like absolutely. In terms of matchups. Not that he can't play well, but yeah, you're right. Like, potentially not 100% Zach Wilson against the Ravens with a young and gelling Jets offense. Dude, just put Flacco in there, especially because it's like the return to Baltimore. You got the storyline behind it. Just at least give Flacco the week 1 and go from there.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what Frank and Jake said.
I mean, I'm just curious, okay, so Zach Wilson's price on Keep Trade Cut was pretty low, especially after the initial injury news. I don't think it's that low. I really don't think it decreased at all for anyone that actually had Zach Wilson, myself included. I wasn't instantly lower on my Zach Wilson shares, but from Keep Trade Cut, if we're going to take it verbatim, and maybe we can look at the Adieco trades thing to see some of the recent trades, his price really hasn't gone up a ton. It feels like the public has soured on Zach Wilson a little bit, especially when you compare him to someone like Tua, where Zach Wilson was kind of above Tua in the beginning of the offseason. Now he's pretty firmly below.
Yeah.
Is there any potential wanting to buy Zach Wilson before the season starts while some of the news is, yes, this is positive, but it's not like overly positive. I mean, we all agree we don't want him to play very early.
I don't know. I'm so back and forth on Zach Wilson just in general, and this injury is just another thing that's just causing me to go back and forth on him. The Jets have done, I think, pretty well of actually surrounding him with talent between Elijah Moore, now Garrett Wilson. They brought in
Corey Davis.
2 tight ends.
9 fucking tight ends.
Yeah, they brought in every tight end you could possibly want. They still have Corey Davis there. So, they've actually done pretty well surrounding him with talent. But I'm just not sold on Zach Wilson. I think he's a really interesting guy and he has a lot of upside, but I'm just not fully sold on him yet.
On my end, I don't hate the idea of trying to buy him right now, but the only scenario I'm doing that is if I'm a full on rebuilding team and I have kind of an excess of picks and I can just send maybe a 2024 contender for, or whatever kind of pick it takes to get Zach Wilson. But if I'm a contender, I'm not even considering that because he's still, like Jake said, such a gamble. But he obviously, we all know he has the talent to be really good, but I don't know. His rookie season was kind of crazy in terms of the up and downs. But I don't hate the idea, but only if I'm in a rebuilding situation.
I wanted to pull up the trades, but I'm not sure this thing is working for me.
Do you think you could get him for 1 first?
It depends on the person, and also depends on the first. If it's a 23 first, I think that at least half the time, if not more, you're getting them.
No, I
Okay,
know,
so-
but what about like hypothetically like a 2024 contender first?
Well, let's see some of these trades here. Ready? Khalil Shakir and a 23 first for Zach Wilson and Alan Lazard, 6-point passing touchdown league. Zach Wilson, is this out? No, it's not our league, but this is a similar deal. We did a 22 first though. Zach Wilson and a 23 first for Kyler Murray. Oh my God, this is Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Carson Wentz for D Hop and Zach Wilson. What the hell? Okay, let's just disregard that one. Josh Allen and Leonard Fournette for Zach Wilson, Najee Harris, AJ Brown. Davis Mills, Devontae Smith, 23 third for Zach Wilson, Allen Robinson. TJ Hawkinson, Jimmy Garoppolo for Zach Wilson, Evan Ingram in tight end premium, but it is still a 6-point passing touchdown. Zach Wilson and a 23 second for Derek Carr.
What?
Zach Wilson for AJ Dillon straight up. Zach Wilson for Wentz and a 24 first. I think you're not going to get him for a 24 first straight up, unless that first is considered pretty early from the looks at some of these trades. But it's not like, okay, his price is higher than it is on Keep Trade Cut, right? Especially like some of these trades, he's going for a little chunk of change, but it's not crazy, right? Because you see this trade, Zach Wilson and a 23 second for Derek Carr. The Kyler Murray for Zach Wilson and a 23 first, right? Getting, in most Superflex leagues, a top 6, top 7 consensus startup pick for a first round pick in Zach Wilson, right? Like Sky Moore, Rondo Moore for Zach Wilson. Here's a 23 first for Zach Wilson and Brian Edwards. I don't know. What do you guys think of this price tag on? Fair, overpriced, underpriced?
I think it's fair just because you're getting a quarterback that's 23 or around there. He's very young, so like people are going to price that in, and obviously that's why he's even up this high. But I think it's fair because, you know, he was a second overall pick, last year, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously people took him high in the rookie drafts. They're still going to hold him pretty high. And, you know, he had an all right rookie year where he showed flashes, so people aren't going to just sell him right away. And we know what happens with quarterbacks, especially highly drafted quarterbacks. They hold their value in dynasty leagues very long, probably too long. We've seen it before with other, you know, bust, you know, high NFL picks that people still trade for later on in their second or third season, saying, oh, he has the potential. And I kind of just see that happening with Zach Wilson. So I wouldn't want to pay a first, but I definitely understand people that do.
No, yeah, I was going to...
This trade right here, Drew Lock for Zach Wilson and 2 23 firsts.
I don't think Drew Lock has too much swag to be traded for that.
But the point I was going to make about Zach Wilson is I understand people who have him like not wanting to sell at this point, because I feel like right now trying to like sell him away to someone would be like at his lowest value I think he's ever been at this point. So I understand anyone trying to get him, you kind of have to slightly overpay to what you think his price should be based off his rookie year. Because I mean, like I said, if I had him, I wouldn't be looking to sell him at all.
All right. I mean, we could just transition this real quick. Like, speaking of injured players, I wanted to talk about buying injured players. So I'm going to pull up a graph real quick because, okay, every single year in Dynasty, you're going to have those situations where the guy who has Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Courtland Sutton last year, they get hurt. They're a premium player at their position. And do you try to trade for those players who are guaranteed to miss the rest of the season at good value, at good cost? And if so, when do you want to do it? And I wanted to bring up someone that I kind of wish I traded for more. Let me get it all on the screen. And this is the Keep Trade Cut graph of Courtland Sutton's all-time value. And as you can see on this chart, I think he originally got injured at the very beginning of the season, was it? Does anyone remember when he got hurt?
It was like week 2. It was very early.
So yeah, so is it this like September 20th dip that he has here?
About that, yeah. And then he'll just constantly go down from there pretty much.
Yeah,
So-
that's the thing that I found the most interesting about some of these injured player charts is that they're not at their lowest when they immediately get hurt. It's actually when they immediately get hurt, and if you're looking to trade them away because maybe you still want to contend or something, that's actually probably the best time to sell. Is that you have people that are still willing to buy, and yes, it's at a slight discount, but if you wait 2 months, 3 months, or into the the playoffs, you're just going to get a worse price because he's still fucking hurt and no one wants to buy at that point. And then you see in March just this massive value. This is probably when they picked up Russell Wilson here. This massive value jump, and then he's just climbed up ever since. But yeah, as I pull up some more players, do you guys have you guys tried this before? Do you have any?
I've never tried it, but I do. It is something that I've thought of a lot, and I do kind of think of it as like, especially if someone on a contending team goes down, like if a contending team had Cortland Sutton last year, and he was out for the year. I think that's a great time to try to swoop in and buy him because the contender is just going to want to take someone to replace that production immediately and just have a chance to still win a championship. And he doesn't care that he's giving up, a potential top 20 receiver for the next 2 or 3 years after that. He just wants that championship now. And I think that's the best way to buy it is when a contender actually loses a big piece.
I mean, I can't say I disagree because I just feel like you get good value for the most part. But I mean, like you said, I've not really tried this. I mean, we could talk about suspended players, or maybe we should just make that a completely different topic. We can just stay on injured players for now. But no, I'm pulling up Derrick Henry's graph, and I'm actually surprised to see his price has just gone stably down up until today. He's at almost, for the past couple of years. Obviously, he was rocky when he first came into the league, but since Derrick Henry's been established, he's at an all-time low value. Now, he also is an older player, which it's like, is that really surprising that he's at an all-time low?
Not so much on his end. I think what was the weird situation was, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't ETN go up in the rankings during
stomped up a ton?
Yeah,
I mean, we can look at Cam Akers too, right? Like,
yeah,
Cam Akers was.
By the way, Frank, you're on the clock.
Oh crap! The draft started.
You're up, Frank.
Oh yikes!
Take Cooper Kupp or Najee and move on.
I'll take Najee.
I took Najee.
So yeah, Cam Akers, top 10 running back, shoots down like a freaking missile. Actually, his time to buy was right after he got hurt. He's gone up only since then, so maybe I was fucking wrong.
I think it's very player dependent. Obviously, just like in Cortland Sutton's case, like when he got hurt, like there was no hope. He was a 26-year-old on a bad offense with a bad quarterback. No one would have foreseen, Russ being there, in a year. And I think that obviously kind of jump-started his value and he sent it back on this upward trend to where it is now, where a lot of players get hurt and they don't ever recover like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I do think it's just. I was going to say, I do think it's interesting to see the contrast between kind of the younger and older players. How, like, if you're younger, you can actually still go up in the rankings, like you pointed that out with Akers. We saw with ETN. God, I have no idea who to pick. My pick's coming up.
Yeah, ETN. If you bought him right after he got hurt, you bought him at his all-time low.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's always kind of a risk depending on the level of injury. Like, I mean, we'll get into the bold predictions, but I'm still iffy about buying Cam Akers. And that's a whole different topic with the Achilles and Marlon Mack and stuff. But I normally am pro it. I remember a year, like winter, early 2021, we were like looking at all the rankings during startup drafts. and how low Cortland Sutton was coming off of like a great season. Like he had just had like I think 1,200 yards the year before, and then he tore his ACL, which isn't like an injury that's like gonna like mess up your career fully most of the time. And he was falling down to like the 40s, and he's like 25 years old. So I think it is kind of situation dependent, but that's always something I'm kind of looking into.
Actually, I did buy Cam Akers when he got hurt.
You did.
I forgot about that. Which I mean may not even be a good deal necessarily, but you see it here with ETN. If you bought him when he got hurt, that's a good value move. So like in our rebuild league, right? We're a team, we have no hope. We're not looking to contend. Our assets are purely for value gaining. If a guy like I don't think Breece Hall is the best example. Who's like a decent running back that's young?
Javonte?
I think Javonte's a little bit too high cost. Maybe we could go with a receiver, like a decent receiver. Maybe like Traylon. I don't know.
A little bit too low?
No, I think Traylon would be fine. We could use Traylon, right? Traylon, week 5 of the season, doesn't have a great year, gets hurt for the season. I mean, do we just go in and buy? Do we buy immediately?
I feel like you do in that situation just because he's a rookie, so I feel like people are going to still hold him pretty high and value him pretty high without, any real decline just because they're like, oh, he'll come back. Obviously, depending on what the injury is, but typically they're like, oh, he's a rookie, he'll recover. And especially a guy in Traylon that doesn't really have a big injury past, I think that's probably not going to affect him that much.
What's going on, Joe Herbert? How you doing, dude? JT, what are your thoughts on buying injured players? I feel like you've been a little bit quiet.
The issue with, I think it's injury dependent more so than anything. Like ACL injuries don't scare me, but if I see that someone has an ACL injury, I'm going to think that I'm going to hold off on buying them for a year because of Cortland Sutton, Saquon. I think we're going to see it this year with J.K. Dobbins. I just think the year after, I kind of just want to avoid. And then after that, I don't really care. Like, I'll be willing to buy that following year because I just don't think the increase is going to be that great.
I do think that's I was going to say, I do think that's a good point in terms of buying off of, especially ACL tears, because we've seen it with the players specifically you listed, where like their first year back, they might not look as great. So, because I'd actually been thinking that, like, kind of mad in different leagues, I'm going to be sending offers for J.K. Dobbins after the season. I think he still might have a good year, but I think he's long-term going to be better than what he shows this season.
And then another thing is like quarterback injuries. I don't care at all. I mean, we've seen Dak's ankle literally pop out on camera. He came back fine. Joe Burrow's knee got destroyed, and then he had the near MVP type season. Quarterback injuries don't. The only one you can really point to is RG3 and his knee as a big one, and then maybe shoulder injuries, but even that I don't necessarily care. ACLs, I said, okay, I'll wait a year. Achilles, I still kind of want to just stay away from. I mean, I know Cam Akers can come back, but I mean, Marlon Mack is now at the point where he's not even on a practice squad.
Yeah, but was Marlon Mack ever really that good?
He was all right. He was practice squad. I mean, he's better than Amir Abdullah. Amir Abdullah is still on the NFL teams. Marlon Mack is not. Fair. He's better than Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake's still on NFL teams. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like it's kind of proven that if you give a running back enough touches, like they're gonna get yards.
Yeah, but take it, like for him to not even make the practice squad, it's not like they were like.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He's a washed average running back.
I'm just gonna.
Are we surprised Jay Ajayi hasn't made a practice squad? The guy's washed.
Jay Ajayi had.
That was like multiple. He broke his back. I'm pretty sure. It was like
I think the Achilles injury is overrated. I mean, I think the real injury that you got to point to is Todd Gurley, but even then, I guess he was kind of like already at peak production age. But I mean, I feel like every single example that you look at, before the player plays, if you just want to stonk some value, You buy them when they get hurt. You wait until right before the season, and you can sell them for a profit. It may not be a huge profit, but you can sell them for a profit, barring you can get them actually at that injured price. It might be a little bit easier said than done.
I think that's fair.
All right, is that it for the injured segment?
Yeah, let's say, I was thinking about going into suspended players, but let's just have that as a talk for a different day.
Okay.
But yeah, all right, the other topic I wanted to touch on was taxi spots, because this is a big one, especially because taxi spots are about to lock. For those who may be in their first Dynasty League or not understand the taxi spots will lock in most leagues, at least
Thursday
I think.
at 8:00.
So be fucking ready. Have your taxi stuff figured out. And my strategy for taxi spots, and I advise other people to do the same, is I'm not saying that you got to put your stud rookies on the taxi, right? You don't have to put Breece Hall on your taxi. You don't have to put Treylon on your taxi, guys that actually might be productive. But you will be sad, and I think you are misusing the taxi if you just put on your 5th round picks, your UDFA type players on your taxi. I think one of my favorite taxi examples is probably Rondale Moore. The leagues that you have Rondale Moore in your taxi, you're way more happy than if you have Rondale Moore in your starting lineup. Because for the most part, if Rondale Moore's in your starting lineup to begin with, it's probably not a great team. It might be all right. I mean, there are leagues where Rondale Moore is like a flex player for me. But am I one of the favorites? Probably not. So you want him on your damn taxi. And it's really nice. Nico Collins, another dude. He's not fun to have in your roster. Great to have in your taxi. Van Jefferson, great to have in your taxi. What do you do when he's on your roster? Oh, shit, maybe this is the week where he gets his 60-yard touchdown. I have no fucking idea. No one has any fucking idea. So I think that those 3rd-round picks, those 2nd-round picks, put them on your taxi. If Elijah Moore ends up playing well and you could start him, then fucking promote his ass. But until then, put good players on the taxi. Do not waste these spots. Put your bad players on the back end of your roster, because if you want to make a roster move, who would you rather drop? The 5th round pick, you spent a fucking 5th round pick on your UDFA, or you have to figure out someone that you might actually want to play, because you ain't dropping Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
So that's my spiel.
Quick point about it, by the way, Frank, you have like 30 seconds on the clock. But no, I do think there holds a lot of value to that, because I feel like a lot of times new taxi players are usually put the rookies they least care about on their taxi. And that's a mistake I admittedly made at first when I started Dynasty for the first time and like had taxi squads at first. But since then, no, especially if you're a contender, like if you really can't envision that like decent, maybe it was like a 2nd round pick or maybe even like a late first, depending on how loaded your roster is. If you don't think you're going to need him, it's such like a nice asset and thing to have, to be able to just let him not even like, you pretty much open up a roster spot, just keeping him on your taxi. So that's something Frank put me on, and that's been useful since.
The player I'm struggling with and whether or not I want him on my taxi right now is Sky Moore. Because I think Sky Moore could have a solid season, but I mean, there's a chance he's not the wide receiver 1 on the Chiefs. He could be behind Juju and Travis Kelce, and then with that, you know, he might be getting you 7-8 points a game, which does nothing for your team. And it might just be better to have him on that taxi spot and just rotate through, you know, back end running backs that might gain value during the season.
Is he going to be a flex play for you day one?
Depends. Do you think he's better than like a Noah Fant or a Chase Claypool? Like that's the kind of players he's competing with.
I would lean don't taxi then.
Okay.
I think if you have legitimate, at least 1 or 2 legitimate players that this guy is theoretically can or will be behind, then I'd say taxi. Right? If you have Adam Thielen and Tyler Lockett as like a flex play kind of guys, or like your last wide receiver spot and one of your flexes, then and he's like your 5th or 6th wide receiver, yeah, go for the taxi. But if he's in like your top 5, top 4 receivers, you're probably just better off. You're probably just going to need him if you're trying to contend.
Yeah, and I'm running into that problem with George Pickens where I'm like, I'm probably going to have to flex him some weeks, especially if I get an injury or something. So I really don't want to throw George Pickens on there, even though he's a guy that I think is a good candidate for the taxi, just because I think he might get off to a slow start. Mitch at quarterback, as much as I love the guy, isn't that receiver friendly. So I do think he's a guy that would be good to put on the taxi if you could spare it.
Yeah, I think Pickens is a guy I lean for the taxi, but I don't know. He is close.
He's real close, and I'm going to have to end up keeping him on my active roster just because I need the extra security for a flex every now and then. But other than that, I would tend to want to put him on the taxi.
Guys like the Alec Pierces are like the perfect taxi spot type players to me.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like the bait. Oh, well, he could be the Colts wide receiver too. I might as well put him on the roster because he could be productive. It's like, that's a real player where, dude, if Alec Pierce is your 4th receiver, that ain't good.
No.
You better have a lot of running backs or tight ends because that ain't good. Just put him on the taxi. I mean, fuck, Randall Cobb is probably going to score more points than him. So put him on the taxi. If he proves everyone wrong, then just promote him. It doesn't hurt anything. But the only time it's really backfired for me, I had Chase Claypool in the taxi his rookie year, and he was like wide receiver 7, which kind of stunk.
Yeah.
But every other time that I've done that, it's panned out for me, and I've enjoyed it more than I haven't. What's the next segment? We're actually we're motoring through this episode.
Yes. Well, hot takes with an action. So I know if you were listening to us in previous years, you've heard our hot takes. And it's something, if I'm saying, like, I'll give you an example. I said Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be a top 12 quarterback last year. But what does that mean? What do I think you should do with Aaron Rodgers? Cool, don't draft him. What do I do if I have him? Do I trade him for just Jared Goff? Like, what am I supposed to do? This year we've decided to put an action item on top of what our hot takes are. That way, at least we can be accountable for what we're saying. So, I mean, I was wrong with Aaron Rodgers not being a top 12 quarterback, although not by much. Not by much. I was wrong, but at least now we'll be able to talk about it more. So with that, I don't know if you guys want to kick us off or if you want me to.
I'll kick it off because I got a guy that fuck.
You're on the clock. Yeah, Frank's on the clock.
Who should I take? Should I take DK?
I thought you were taking Deontay right there.
I'll take Deontay.
I mean, I'm cool with you taking DK. But
okay.
Now here's the question. All right. So you took Deontay. Do I take Cortland Sutton or do I take DK?
How do you guys feel about your draft?
I was gonna
so
take
far?
DK.
I like mine. I don't know. I got Cooper Kupp at 10, so I'm happy.
Cooper Kupp at 10 was kind of crazy.
Let's get this redraft off the Dynasty Pod, please.
I don't know. Do I take Cortland Sutton or do I take DK?
Nobody cares, JT. Just pick one.
I would take.
Just take the 6'4", 230 guy who runs a 4.240.
Yeah, big and fast. I just did. All right,
all right, my first hot take with an action. I'm not sure this is necessarily a hot take, but if you look at the keep trade cut values, it is. We're all out here in our tight end premium leagues. Fun fact, there are more tight end of all super flex leagues. A majority of them are tight end premium than non-tight end premium. Did you know that?
Huh, I did not.
It's almost
That's
like
good.
65-35, 60-40 in favor of tight end premium, which I didn't think was a thing. So it is. So when we assume tight end premium, it's really not wrong. In our tight end premium leagues, our 65-35 majority, I will trade Gabriel Davis for Dawson Knox straight up. I would look to get more value than that. But I think I am trading the number 3 target on the Bills for the number 2. And I am getting at least half a point, if not more, per reception more. I think Dawson Knox in his 4th year, which I think is the true tight end breakout year, not year 3, is going to have a great year. This is the year that we see him get over 100 targets. This is the year where he really becomes a major part of the offense. And I would rather have Dawson Knox over Gabriel Davis straight up.
Wow.
Strong words.
Strong words, right.
Apparently, in keep trade cut, you get a lot more. But
yeah, I mean, people love Gabriel Davis, which I never understood. We had a big discussion on him last year. Well, last like February, maybe. I think it was right after his 3 touchdown game. I just didn't get it, but people still love Gabriel Davis, and to me, I think he's just some Bills player who's not going to be a whole lot. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, I also feel the same about Dawson Knox, but you should get a decent amount plus back for Gabriel Davis because there are some hardcore Gabriel Davis truthers. So I mean, as long as you're picking up the value, I don't really care. I think you're better off going elsewhere, but this is Frank's hot take. So
yeah, it's the hot take. I feel like you needed the straight up for Dawson Knox to make it a hot take.
Yeah. All right, I have one that I could kick us off with. Justin Fields will be worth more on keep trade cut than Joe Burrow by May 2023. And now action items could be, there's a few. I would trade Joe Burrow for Justin Fields plus. That's just an easy, self-explanatory. Now, you might not have Joe Burrow or Justin Fields, right? So what I do is quarterbacks that are currently ranked above Justin Fields that I would trade for him, and whatever I could get back on top, but don't really care. That would be Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford's basically equivalent, so if I can make that work. Jalen Hurts is significantly above Justin Fields for some reason. I would do that in a heartbeat. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. That was like 5 or 6 quarterbacks I would easily just trade straight up for Justin Fields. I also probably would trade Joe Burrow for a couple other guys too, but that's more of a different hot take. It's not that I don't like Joe Burrow. I think he's sick, but he's ranked in the like crazy high tier, and I just have him like 1 or 2 tiers below that.
Interesting.
Justin Fields guy.
My hot take is also Bengals related, and that is Jamar Chase is just ranked so highly, and not wrongly. He's obviously the clear number 2 receiver in Dynasty football to me, behind only Justin Jefferson. But I do think his teammate, T. Higgins, and a first is a very good start to a trade. And I honestly think T. Higgins has a good shot at finishing over Jamar Chase this season as long as he's healthy. Obviously, last year he missed some time.
Don't get me wrong. I love me some T. I love T. Higgins. But you ignorant little Jake.
I'm not even saying Jamar Chase is bad. I love Jamar Chase. I think he's a freak and an animal. He's the whole package. But I think he's ranked so highly in Dynasty now. If you could flip him for a guy that's a year older and a first, who's going to produce, who's still a top 10 Dynasty wide receiver in his own right, I just think it's a no-brainer move. Not really, but
Burrow
it's my hot.
For Fields plus how to get the number 1 overall pick or no overall rookie pick.
Joe just doesn't trust the rushing upside. Joe, first off, I will never forget, was in here telling us that he wouldn't give up Tyler Huntley unless he was getting a second, which insane.
It was the first.
First, sure, whatever. Regardless, to me, Joe Burrow just doesn't have the rushing upside that Justin Fields does, and Justin Fields, I think, is a good quarterback. Like, I think Justin Fields is a very solid quarterback. He's younger. He's got the rushing upside. The only thing he lacks is the weapons. I did that all while drafting, by the way. Pretty good job by me. He just doesn't have the weapons, but like time will tell.
Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, I got 2 running backs with catching upside on my team in a PPR league.
All right.
My bad. Um. Anyway, Jake knocked me off my train of thought there. I was doing so well.
Good.
I don't
I
know.
hope I did.
Justin Fields, I had the same take last year. It didn't pan out. The Bears are not doing him many favors, but Justin Fields is someone that I still think is a very good prospect and stand by. Now, going back to Jake and what we were just talking about with the Bengals, I just think what we're accounting for. So there's a lot of stats going around on Twitter, on the Dynasty Reddit or whatever, that T. Higgins had, like when they were both healthy, he had a higher target share than Jamar Chase, right? Which is true. It's a fact. But what you forget is Jamar Chase was a rookie. This is a rookie receiver who, I mean, broke the receiving record first off, but like rookie receivers typically don't get opportunity right off the bat, and Jamar Chase did. Jamar Chase also had 128 targets last year, which over the 540 targets that the Bengals had was a 24% target share, 23.7% target share. I'll ask you guys, what do you think rookie wide receivers target share does? Does it go up or does it go down? It goes up. Jamar Chase has a chance of being a 25+% target share player in his second season. He is ridiculous. Him and Justin Jefferson are ridiculous.
What was T. Higgins' target share missing 3 games that he missed?
T. Higgins' target share was
probably
110.
21%, something like that.
It was 20.3%.
Right. And he missed 3 games. So his is also going to go up. I mean, obviously there's arguments for keeping Jamar Chase. There's a lot of arguments for keeping Jamar Chase. I'm not saying that. That's why it's a hot take. But if I could go out and get T. Higgins, a first, and probably another asset for Jamar Chase, I think that's a good move. You don't lose that much in points per game. You don't lose that much in age between the two of them. And you get a first-round pick and another asset.
I mean, this goes back to a different debate that we've had before. We'll probably have again, but it's like, how much is that elite wide receiver worth? How much is that Justin Jefferson worth? How much is that that Jamar Chase worth? And I don't know. I just think it's still an ongoing debate. I just would rather still have the Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson of the world kind of player. Now, if you're telling me that's an early first, all right, like, I'm getting like 2 sick players. But if I'm getting like T. Higgins and Raheem Jarrett for Jamar Chase, I think I just might rather have Jamar Chase.
You had to throw in the Maryland slander in here also.
No, I like Raheem Jarrett. I like Raheem Jarrett a lot, but there's just two like solid wide receivers. I mean, it's better than putting in. I'm trying to think of someone that I think is overrated this year. I don't really.
Christian Watson in this class.
Well, yeah, that's totally different though. He's just significantly worse than I think Raheem Jarrett is. I don't know. You have to come back to me for who I think's overrated on wide receivers. But yeah, I don't know. Just give me the elite guy. Sorry, that was a long tangent on the side topic here. Anyone else got something?
Yeah. I got. You saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I am telling people to buy Elijah Mitchell, and I think by the end of the regular season, he will be viewed. I wrote top 12. I'll give myself breathing room. Maybe like top 12 to 14 dynasty backlog. I think this offense in San Francisco with Trey Lance is going to be a run-heavy offense. They're going to get Debo involved. They're going to use Trey Lance. And Elijah Mitchell is by far the best running back on that team. Not that it really affected him anyway, but they let go of Trey Sermon. I don't know who's his main backup now. It's Jeff Wilson, right? Him or Tyrion Davis-Price. I don't know, but I think especially with Trey Lance there, they're going to go run heavy, a lot of zone read option plays. And I think it's going to be a benefit to them. We've seen a lot of times with running quarterbacks, it usually benefits their running backs, even though it's like some people say, yeah, they might take some goal line touchdowns, but it always like freezes a defender that's in the box for them and might open up lanes. We've seen it with the Ravens and Eagles running backs in the past 2 years. So Elijah Mitchell, considering his age and everything, and Shanahan's not really someone to care about draft capital. Like if he's doing well, he'll stick with him. I could see Elijah Mitchell ranked very highly.
Yeah, sure. But at the same time, we've seen Shanahan do this where every year for the past like 4 or 5 years, he's had a new number 1 running back.
I know, but he's
between-
already had Jeff Wilson for a while. Like, who's his competition? The rook, unless Tyrion Davis Price surprises all of us. Jeff Wilson isn't.
Frank, you're on the clock.
Jeff Wilson isn't
Frank, you're on the
intimidating
clock.
me in terms of Elijah Mitchell. Jeff Wilson can't stay healthy, and I don't think he's as good as Elijah Mitchell. So I think it's just his backfield.
Okay, wait. I'm just looking at chat right now. Skull saying, when do we think the Bears will draft a wide receiver 2023? They should have drafted David Bell. I would have loved if the Bears drafted David Bell. I agree. Instead, they got Velus Jones. So if they did, and according to Lounis, they drafted a Hall of Famer. But yeah, I think 2023 is a perfect year for them to. I mean, you're telling me.
They might not draft one, but they might just get the next one that wants a big contract, and their team doesn't want to give it to them.
Yeah,
like we saw that a couple times this offseason. They'll get a number one.
It could change very quickly if they end up.
I don't really. What are the Bears like? The Bears clearly need a wide receiver, but
This
are
is
they
the year to
really
draft one.
Are they sure? If you want to go out and draft one, I don't mind that. But to go out and sign one for big money, I just think it's a mistake on.
I mean, they do.
Like,
They do with Allen Robinson.
They have so many holes in this roster.
How many times have we seen a team signing a big time receiver, even if they weren't a playoff team before? No, sign a big time receiver to help their young quarterback. And
yeah, but how many times has it worked out? I can't think of many that like.
I mean,
Stephon Diggs was a big one.
Didn't he get traded?
Yeah, he was traded.
No, but
That's what
I'm saying
like,
I'm saying the Bears are going to trade for one.
We've
like
had
trade
this
for one and then give them the big extension.
Oh, okay, trading for one is different.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like what the Dolphins did with Tyreek Hill, what the Eagles did with AJ Brown. I'm saying that I could see them doing that for the next receiver who wants out.
That I could forgive more than just because most of the time, good.
No, yeah, I didn't just mean
free agency.
Yeah, no. I meant one of the elite ones who wants a big deal and their team will pay them.
Shanahan had new starting running backs because the previous year's starter was no longer on the roster.
Yeah,
talking about Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert. Yeah, I like Elijah Mitchell. I think he's going to go up in the rankings. 22 seems a little bit low for him.
Smaller starting lineups demand more elite starting production, so that matters when evaluating selling premium players.
It's a good point.
That's a very solid point.
But you're getting a guy in T Higgins back plus other assets. That's why it makes sense because you're actually not losing that much in points per week, if anything, realistically.
Chase offers you 18 plus. T Higgins is probably like 15. It's probably solid around 15. I don't know.
Yeah.
Frank and I tried doing this actually. Funnily enough, Jake, it's when you made a trade, something revolving around Jerry Jeudy and Stephon Diggs, and we were trying to figure out how many points per game difference is a first worth, like that kind of thing. I don't know if we ever came to a conclusion in that, Frank, but
I don't know. But
no.
in that case, Jerry Jeudy at the end of last season was putting up about 1.5 points a game, so a lot.
Yeah. All right. Moving us along again. Oh, yes,
are we doing more hot takes? Or are we moving?
Yeah, I got.
I'm trying to go. I can't come up with another one that I really like.
It's not really a hot take though. I could turn it into a hot take.
Yeah, I got a hot take. Very hot take. Saad Bateman is a top 12 wide receiver this year.
Oh my God! When will you just give it up? When will you just give it up?
So just so we can clarify, are you saying by the end of the season he will be ranked as a top 12 dynasty receiver, or just regular season he's going to finish? Oh, he disappeared.
Yeah, he disappeared on us.
He's scared. He doesn't want the smoke.
Yeah, once it came time to defend his claim.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask him if he meant like, oh, there he is. Hey, JT. Jake. Definitely Jake.
I'm back.
YouTube doesn't want to hear the truth.
Let me know when I'm back. Who's trying to silence me? Who's trying to silence me?
Okay, JT, just to clarify yourself real quick with this take, are you saying by the end of the
finishes top 12? He finishes top 12
for this season.
He is wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12 this year.
Okay.
We'll do half point PPR.
Yeah. I mean, if he does that in any format, I'll be impressed.
Well, I mean, let's just look at
why.
Okay, let's look at Marquise Hollywood Browns.
I love how he gets so serious.
Well, Hollywood's better.
Yeah.
You need like one word to describe why he won't be a top 12 wide receiver this year. One
Is
word.
it Ravens?
Yep. That's it.
Hater. I just think Rashad Bateman, for what it's worth, is the lead target on the Ravens. I don't really care about Mark Andrews. I think it's Rashad Bateman. I think he's the top guy on this team. I think if healthy, he's going to be sick. And I'd be willing to trade Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, or Tyreek Hill all for Rashad Bateman plus.
Wait, say that list again?
Okay, these are guys ranked above him on Keep Trade Cut that I'm willing to trade for Bateman plus. Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, or Tyreek Hill.
Say that list again. I heard Tyreek Hill.
Devontae Adams, Debo, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, but like those guys it makes sense to trade though for other reasons, not just because you're getting bait.
Oh fuck you, JT.
I took Trey Lance in the redraft. You're like 10 picks away, Lounis. You're never getting him.
Yeah, but they're not. I mean, I can't say right now, but you'll see.
Yeah, but so Jake, I get that, like they're all older and everything, but I mean the guys that are next to Rashad Bateman, I equally like in terms of, or the other guys I just like as well as like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Okay, you know what? Here, I trade CeeDee Lamb. I trade CeeDee Lamb for Rashad Bateman plus very easily. I think Rashad Bateman. You want another hot take? I think Rashad Bateman has a better season than CeeDee Lamb this year.
Okay, that's crazy.
I know.
Is that crazy? Is that crazy? Like CeeDee Lamb is
crazy.
Where's CeeDee Lamb? CeeDee Lamb finished wide receiver 13 standard, 19 PPR. Like, I think he's a middle of the pack wide receiver too.
Oh, not this year.
Wide receiver 1 prices. I mean, he just went like what? He was wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was wide receiver 6 off the board in our redraft league that we're currently conducting. I think he's getting wildly overdrafted, and meanwhile, Rashad Bateman is very much under.
Who was wide receiver 6?
CeeDee Lamb.
Oh.
I don't know. You guys are sleeping on Rashad Bateman. I would definitely do a lot.
All right, I got a hot take.
There is no way this guy just picked Dawson Knox.
I got a hot take for you. My guy, Rashad Penny finishes top 15 this season.
Oh, you're out of your fucking mind.
Buy Rashad Penny for a second.
Come on, man.
I don't necessarily agree, but I see the path. Like, if you just think Kenneth Walker's not good, he's already got a groin injury and everything.
Imagination land over here.
Imagination
I see the path.
land.
Also, Joe's in chat. Spewing preseason stats. Jamar Chase had 1 catch in preseason, Joe. How'd Jamar Chase do? Tell me. All right, moving on. I don't really like Rashad Penny a whole lot, but I can at least see Frank's logic in the fact that like Kenneth Walker most certainly overrated, but also is battling injury. This is a Seahawks team that, I mean, gotta assume they're going to run the ball a decent amount. Like, I mean, people were pointing towards the. I like the screen, Frank. People were pointing towards the Lions last year as a reason why DeAndre Swift wouldn't run the ball because they're going to be bad and they're going to be down all the time, and like that didn't matter.
Jamal I'm out here in imagination land.
Imagination.
I don't think 15 is a hot take. 15's not that crazy though.
Okay.
Is
15 that crazy?
No, I don't think.
I mean, for the running back position, not really. I need a couple injuries, and you're out of your mind, Frank. That is cray. Maybe it is.
he is an imagination land. Okay, my next hot take. Cam Akers will be worth less than a 23 early second by the end of the regular season.
That's I mean.
So what are you selling him for now?
If I had Cam Akers, I'm trying to get any first I can in any of the next 3 years. Obviously, 2023 is the most preferable, but I would take a 24 first or a 25 first. Dude, the Achilles.
Is it the injury or is it Darrell Henderson?
Oh no, it's not Darrell Henderson. It's the injury. I think it's completely an injury. It's just we've seen this. Like I'm waiting for the exception with the Achilles and running backs, and I'd have to bet on Cam Akers being the first exception. Marlon Mack couldn't make a fucking practice squad. Like.
Yeah, but Cam Akers is a whole lot more talented than
he is,
Marlon
and
Mack
that's why he's one's not making a practice squad and the other one's I guess the starter. But I just think I don't know. I think you're going to see a lot of committee stuff, including even Kyron Williams on the Rams. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a move for a running back later on. I'm out on Akers.
Your damn Achilles slant. I'm so done with the Achilles shit. If we look at the wide receiver position, there's been so many good.
Look at the history.
Yeah, look at the receivers. There have been
look at the running backs.
I don't give it. All the running backs Achilles are terrible.
Marlon Mack was a promising young running back.
Marlon Mack is not good. He's not good.
Not anymore.
Get it out of your head. Marlon Mack was average at best. He was never good.
Average running backs.
Achilles and running backs. You're like Harry Potter with the fucking Dementors. You have nightmares about it. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it stinks. But is it worse than an ACL? No shot. You can't fucking convince me. The whole laundry list of running backs.
Wait. Did you say no shot that it's worse than an ACL?
No fucking shot.
It's way worse than an ACL.
I don't think so.
Oh man, you lose me there, Frank.
You can go ahead and give me this list
of
garbage running backs. Oh yeah, the garbage running backs weren't good this season after they got hurt. No fucking shit. No shit. The bad running backs were bad, and they got hurt, so they're even worse.
You're doubting the Achilles. You view it the same as if he tore his ACL?
I don't give a shit. I don't care what he tore. I don't care.
I think there's a big difference. I wouldn't be this much off Akers if it was an ACL.
You're in a playoff run where the Rams' offensive line, like every playoff run, is getting smacked around. They're getting smacked around. They're getting their lunch money taken, right? In the run game, they're getting their lunch money taken. No one on that team could run the ball. Oh, Cam Akers is washed. Oh, look at this laundry list of terrible running backs that hurt their Achilles. Why can't we look at the receivers? Why is the point invalid all of a sudden?
It's different positions.
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Jake or JT, one of you two. Step in.
Listen, you would have to present me with said list of running backs that have not come back, because Marlon Mack, if that's your prime example, I think Frank has a point here.
I don't have it on deck with me. I know I've seen it before. Donta Foreman is another recent one. He was a rookie.
That doesn't prove your point.
No, but I can get a list sometime. I just don't have it ready.
I got it. Hold on, I gotta adjust the screen. I was too busy in imagination land.
I was too busy in imagination land.
Okay, hopefully this isn't terrible quality. I mean, listen, if y'all can find a better list, this is the first one I found on Reddit. Let me get it right for viewers. Oh, hold on. This is going to start buzzing. Lendale White, 2010, age 26, out of the league. Andre Brown, out of the league. Mikel Shore, out of the league. Ernest Graham, out of the league. Kendall Hunter, out of the league. Or 2 more games. Beanie Wells.
Beanie Wells was all right. Beanie Wells was all right.
Ballard.
Vic Ballard.
Joe McKnight, returner.
Joe McKnight.
Arian Foster, who was 29. Was out of the league, cut midseason. Brandon Oliver out of the league. Donta Foreman played 1 game. Was decent last year. Isaiah Crowell at 26 was out of the league. I'll kind of give you that one. And then Marlon Mack is Marlon Mack.
So the only guy that was actually a good running back was Arian Foster, and this was when he was 30. I mean, I think Frank might have a point here of like, we've seen other positions come back. Why can't running backs? And I think everyone's just like, oh, well, running back's different. Running back's this. You get more hits and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I just kind of am under the impression that like medicine nowadays is better than it once was, and that like people can come back from almost anything. But I don't know. I just think Akers is a good player, and that's how I'm going to value him as a good player until he proves me otherwise.
Yeah, that's the point. I'm trying to tell you guys to do it now before he proves that he is not as good.
But what was the actionable advice again, Lounis?
I said that he would be worth less than an early 2023 second by the end of the regular season.
I think that's. I mean,
I think it's gonna be a combination of him having a disappointing season and then obviously just this 2023 class building up in hype.
But also keep in mind, next year he'll be 24. It's not old, but I mean, people like David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, those are the guys that are in that similar age range. A.J. Dillon, Ramondre Stevenson, like, they're not going up. People aren't buying them for investments, looking to go forward. I think I might side with Lounis here.
Let's fucking go.
It's a weird tag team here, though. I never really expected to be on your side here. I don't know how I feel about it.
It's okay.
I'm a Frank.
Yeah, I think Skull's right. The question is Cam Akers a good running back?
Yes.
I don't
No,
care
the
about
question is how much.
At one point he was.
Because he was. I want to tell you guys, I thought he was good. Like his rookie season, he was a good running back. He deserved to be ranked highly in Dynasty. He tore his Achilles. That changes things. Now the question
what
for
about
me is
the list, Frank, with Travis Etienne?
Travis Etienne is a question mark also.
Are you not selling Travis Etienne with his list, Frank?
Achilles scares me.
I mean, of course, Liz Frank scares me so much more.
How can you be cool about the Achilles than crazy about the Liz Frank?
Because we've seen people come back from it. It's been done. It's been done.
We'll see.
No one comes back from the Liz Frank.
I should make a bet on Cam Akers versus ETN this season with one of you.
Sure. Which one? What do you want to bet? I'll take Akers. You could take ETN.
I'll take ETN.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Did I just take ETN before Akers on the... Yeah, I did just take in our redraft that we're currently conducting. I took ETN before Akers.
Aha. JT.
Yeah, I took Deontay before DK, and I wish I could take DK.
I told you to take Deontay and then took DK.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking.
I had to take Lounis's boy before him.
Sorry, the game, fellas.
Yeah, fuck you.
All right, anyone else got some hot takes with some action?
I feel like I have one more.
Those are my two.
Let me make sure I'm looking.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about. I didn't come up with the action item yet, but Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery, I don't think they finished the season as their team starting running back. So I would sell them for anything, essentially. But I mean, whatever the value is.
David Montgomery?
Yeah, I just think they're high-rated players that I would rather, like, they're highly valued players currently that I would rather have other. So James Conner, Ezekiel Elliott, I just think they're going to have better seasons, and I think their longevity in the league is overvalued. Speaking of Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery, like, I think you're getting more points this year for the likes of James Conner and Ezekiel Elliott, and the amount of time they're going to have in the league is essentially the same. Looking back down further below on keep trade cut, CH, I just think, again, he's at least catches passes. I think he also could still be that starting running back for the Kansas City Chiefs longer down the road.
Lounis, you have like 7 seconds to pick, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
This is on the clock. Rashad Penny, I'm still on the fence about. I know Frank gave his top 15 take. I mean, maybe. Miles Sanders, I definitely would trade him for. I would give up Jacobs and Montgomery for Sanders. There's just a lot of players below him that I think are going to score more points or be in the league longer than these two. I think Frank probably couldn't disagree more.
No, I don't
really?
disagree.
I thought you were both a Josh Jacobs and Montgomery
guy. I like
guy.
Dave Montgomery. He's a weird one. He's a weird one. I like Montgomery more than I do Jacobs now.
Oh yeah, Jacobs.
Listen, I used to like Jacobs, but I think the problem is that he just hasn't improved. I don't really want players that haven't improved. I think the problem is that I was too fucking late to sell him. I've tried to sell him in the one league I have him left, and it's tough. It's like you really have. I mean, I have a couple offers that are still outstanding that I probably need to follow up on, but it's like, damn, I can't even trade this guy straight up for Hunter Renfrow, my guy. So it's like, and I already traded for Christian Kirk in that league. So who else do I go after?
Fair point.
Big Christian Kirk guy. Maybe just go after the source himself, Trevor Lawrence, who's throwing Christian Kirk. Those guys plus to get T-Law. I don't know. People like running backs.
I don't know. I think the whole Herbert and Ebner on Montgomery's tail. Like, I think Herbert will get time because he's a good player, but I also think the whole I don't care about snap percentage for running backs as much than everyone else does. I care about, do they get the necessary amount of workload? I don't give a shit how many snaps the guy plays. If he plays 20 snaps and gets 15 carries and 5 targets on those 20 snaps, I don't care. That's all. That's what I care about, not the snaps. It's similar like the tight ends, right? Like, dude, you can have a tight end that plays every freaking snap. There are a lot of tight ends that play a lot more than you think. But these dudes are used as blockers. And like the fifth option, decoys, and they don't get any targets. I mean, yes, generally speaking, you need to play to be good. I'm not saying that you don't need to do that, but there are plenty of running backs that are really good that don't see much more than 65% of their offensive snaps.
No, I agree. And Frank, real quick, just to let you, because you're on the clock, you have 30 seconds. I mean, a good example of that, we've seen Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, the past 2 seasons, has had 50 to 60% of snaps, and he's had top 10 finishes or top 12 finishes. So I do think I agree with that point, because I think it's kind of rare to expect a full-on I don't know how many running backs in the league are actual true bell cows anymore.
Not many.
It's not a lot.
Very, very few.
Yeah, so I feel like that's an unfair expectation. I'm mostly just looking at talent, and then obviously situation does matter, but we saw talent usually prevail, especially with running backs. I remember when DeAndre Swift first got drafted, they're oh, they already have this. I forgot who was the other guy's name, Kerryon Johnson. And then they were oh yeah, in a shitty offense, and then Swift is a stud. So usually talent will prevail, and that's usually what I go off for running backs. It's hard to expect a workhorse.
I almost drafted Khalil Herbert in this redraft league, but I think instead I'm going to go with Rashad White.
I sold out on all my Khalil Herberts already. Khalil Herbert was one of my favorite very late round startup picks last year, and I sold them for thirds and upgrade from thirds to seconds and things. Which might be a little light, but whatever. I was willing to sell at that.
Dude, half my just responded to JT. Half my team is going to be injured week 1.
That seems like a bad strategy, Lounis.
Yeah, but they fell. I got Chris Godwin at the end of the 5th round.
Got an offer for Akers in my queue, offering a late 23 first. Do I take it? Yes. I look. Even if you like Cam Akers.
Oh
you
yeah,
like him more than easily. You like him more than Sean Tucker? You like him more than? Give me another name that's going to be a late running back. It doesn't even have to be a running back.
Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby had a very solid game. I'm trying to think of who Raheem Jarrett again comes to mind.
I don't know. I don't think it's as crazy to hold Akers as you guys say. It does depend on the team. I think more times than not, I probably would sell Akers for that. But for the simple fact that if I needed a running back, I could probably go around mid-season and get a running back for that late first that I need that will help me win a championship more. Or I could just turn around and flip it for fucking Kamara. right now, potentially. Maybe I have to give a little bit more for Kamara, but
This redraft team is gross.
like I agree in that like you miss out on some upside this season because Bakers does well. I mean, he could go through the roof.
Wait, JT, you say mine?
Yeah.
No, I like my team.
It's pretty gross.
Other
It's
running
gross.
backs are Brees, Chubb, Edmonds, Carter,
like my team.
Henderson.
Yeah,
I don't
Brees and Chubb alone is good to carry you through. You don't really need K-makers. I think you just play the value game and get the first.
Yeah, I tend to agree on that one.
You have Edmonds everywhere.
I'd sell Edmonds everywhere.
Yeah, I would be looking to sell personally. I mean, he's a weird one, but I just feel like Edmonds is that classic like Myles Gaskin that appears on the Dolphins every couple years. You know, just that random ass Dolphins running back that like is quasi relevant purely because of opportunity more so than talent, and they're always worth like an early second, but no one wants to trade an early second for them. I'm just selling those guys all the time. Also, I think Raheem Mostert's incredibly undervalued in that offense.
Yeah, Edmonds just not the guy. Like, he's never going to be a bell cow running back. So already his upside is just limited. And this is a Dolphins team that they're just not going to make him the feature back. Like, they're not going to make him. Yeah. They might make him the head of the committee, but the committee is going to be gross. That like, even with injuries and everything, I just don't think he's going to be a very good starting player. So for the value that Edmonds is, which is about, I don't know, it's over 3,000 keep trade cut points, which is decently high. I'd easily trade Chase Edmonds.
I just think that the problem I have with him is that I'm not sure he's going to dominate those passing game downs like others think he will. And I really don't think he's that efficient of a running back. Like, to me, that Cardinals backfield last year was one of the more ideal backfields to be a running back in. Kyler Murray as a quarterback is phenomenal if you're a running back with his running ability. They ran hurry up a shit ton with an efficient offense, which just generally helps out your running game. So, like, I saw a stat the other day. I mean, Kyler Murray, James Conner, and Chase Edmonds were all top 5 in rushing yards in the hurry up offense. It's just it's beneficial for your running game to do that. Now you go to like just a vastly different system in Miami where there's a ton of different running backs. Feels risky, but I'm pulling the trigger on the first coming for you if you fuck me. The thing is, though, is that it's the opposite way around, because this is the type of deal where you just mitigate all your risk.
Yeah, you could literally turn around and trade that pick for almost anything. If not, you just hold it and take a running back in next year's draft, and you'll be happy. So,
not only that, but there's also the added upside. Okay, well, the added upside for K-makers is he's actually good and he's a top 12 running
Frank,
back.
you're about an auto pick. Oh,
yeah, I didn't realize that. I just took the Austin Hooper randomly.
All right, my bad. So where I was going with this is either you're looking at K-makers having a top 12 season, which is fine, or that late first might not be a late first that you're trading for. And then that is crazy upside as well. So I just think your worst case scenario is it's pick 112 and K-makers has a top 12 season. That doesn't seem likely to me.
I traded Mark Andrews in our home league for a singular 23 first. And while that is a terrible value deal as of right now, I'm still really not that unhappy, because it's like, dude, if I need a tight end, if I really need a freaking tight end, I can get about 95% of the tight ends in Dynasty. Yeah, I can't get one at Mark Andrews level. I lost the trade. But it's relative. Like, I was going into that trade knowing that Mark Andrews could pop off and become one of the premier Dynasty tight ends. You're going into this trade knowing that Cam Akers could pop off and become a top 10 Dynasty running back. But nonetheless, you know that first round pick is not going to suck. There's no chance in hell that first round pick, even if it's pick 12, even if the draft class isn't as good as people think it is, that draft pick is still going to be worth a sizable amount, and you can always trade it from here until this day or Thursday next year. Once the games start being played, you could trade that pick or player you take with it for a decent amount of value.
Yeah.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
You are parking the bus. You know, you're in
Parking the value from
you're
last
parking
week's
that
talk.
value.
Oh yeah,
That's
Patrick
hilarious.
Mahomes style, parking the bus.
Dude, you know those people when I'm not sure if you guys either A, watch Fox News, or B, have family members that watch Fox News, and they just get spammed with those like, buy gold. Gold is the shit. You want to park value?
I think that's just
buy
anyone
gold.
watching old video. Yeah.
Yeah, old people TV, right?
Yeah,
They're just
old
like,
people TV.
fucking buy gold.
Yeah.
Gold is the shit. You want to make money? Buy gold. That's what you're actually doing, but it works out. You're not getting completely boned. Like, you're buying gold.
Or it's kind of like those experiments where it's like you give this one kid a cookie. You give him a cookie and you're like, all right, but if you don't eat this cookie, you'll have 2 cookies later. And it's just don't eat the cookie right now. And so it's the same thing where it's like, look, if you're just willing to push away Cam Akers right now, you can have that first, which is, I can almost assure you, is going to have more value later. So I don't
I
know.
like it. JT's with me.
Yeah, see, I've been on your side the whole time, Liz.
I know. I appreciate it.
All right, well, that's it for me. I don't know if you guys want to talk about
Yeah,
anything
no,
else.
that's it for me.
I got
Jake,
nothing.
I know you like my last 2 picks. A little back to back. I grabbed your guys.
Well, hey,
Not too bad.
YouTube chat, let's roast Lounis's redraft team right now. It's a 14-team league. I think it's PPR.
Oh, I
standard.
forgot this is best ball. Shit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
It
I'm going for all upside
Oh,
players.
I completely
Oh, look how
forgot.
crazy that happened.
Okay. Okay. Ready?
My team is all upside, guys. That's why
Lunis. Hey, chat, listen. Lunis has Travis Kelce, Aaron Jones, Michael Pittman. Now, I'm glad you guys said that because I'm going to take another quarterback. I'll take Justin Fields there. No one's taking a second quarterback. That seems dumb. Lunis has Travis Kelce,
Half your team isn't
Aaron
playing
Jones,
week one.
I
Michael
know. I
Pittman,
said that earlier.
J.K. Dobbins, Chris
But they're
Godwin,
going to be so good later in the season.
Darnell Mooney, Tom Brady, Alan Lazard, Michael Gallup, James Cook, Josh Palmer, and Wan'Dale Robinson. Those running backs are Jones, Dobbins, and Cook. I don't know. Seems risky. Especially with Dobbins probably not playing week 1.
I have a plan.
Yeah, wait. All right.
Yeah, he's fucking better.
It's kind of crazy that this is best ball and no one took a second quarterback yet.
Yeah, I didn't think about it.
Me neither, to be honest. I was thinking about the
Yeah.
other positions.
Now that you mention it,
Yeah, I'm in a best ball dynasty league.
that
Do you
sounds
like it?
elite.
I've not played a game in it, so I have no idea. I really like my team. Actually, I could pull up the team if you guys are curious. I mean, you'll have to look at it on stream. Oh wait, I'm not gonna have it loaded
Are we
in.
still live?
I don't. Yeah, we are still live. I don't
dope.
feel. Is it worth it, or should we just end the sode?
I think we're done. I think it's fine.
We,
All right.
Sorry to bother you guys with redraft.
Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Love you guys. Joe, Isley, Skull, Robert Miller, the lads. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. We will see you. We're doing the thing
Look at
tomorrow.
Skull Dynasty. He likes my team.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everyone.
fuck you guys.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Team
about
Limpy. Team Gimpy.
Thank you, Skull.
But yeah, really appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back with the market segment tomorrow, or you can tune in back in next
week.
Tuesday after week 1. So good luck in your week 1 matchups. We're rooting for all you guys, unless you're in one of our leagues, and I'm not. Yeah, peace out. Have a good one. Love you.
Thanks, guys.